Welcome to A Page I Love. This is Kevin Sharp. Today I'm joined by artist Chad Hardin, who has a new art book that will be soon available. Chad, welcome to Comic Art Live. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. Appreciate it so much. I'm sorry.
Yes, as a behind the scenes note to viewers, we had some adventures getting to this point.
Oh my heck.
But it doesn't matter how it happened, it matters that it happened, and here we are.
There we go.
This will be the third appearance on A Page I Love by the artist who you've chosen.
Okay.
So please tell the viewers what comic we're talking about today.
Okay, so we're talking about Appleseed Book 2, Volume 1, and it was actually a cover done by Arthur Adams. It was X-Men Annual 10 that I picked up. I saw his artwork and I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And he really was like the first comic artist that I was like, okay, anything he does, I'm going to buy. Right. And so, not much later, after X-Men Annual 10, he does the cover for Studio Podius's Appleseed, which back in the day, I mean, this is how we're going to date ourselves here. How old we are.
We're going back to 1989, I believe, for this cover.
You guys, like, this is older than some of your grandparents here, okay? But yeah, I saw his artwork and I cracked open the books. And one of my biggest pet peeves about any book is that you usually have this great cover art and then you open it up and it's a different artist. I remember opening up the book and I'd be like, oh, this isn't Arthur Adams. Because on the inside, it's Masamune Shirow. It's not Arthur Adams. Arthur just did the cover. But like I said, I sought out the book because of his cover, because I was buying anything that had Arthur Adams on it. And then I opened it up and it like introduced me to a whole other world of manga. So not only was it like a book that had my favorite artist on the cover, it was also like my gateway to like an entire region's the way they do sequential art. Given its popularity today, I'd like to think I sort of called the shot a little bit. But yeah, it was a huge comic book in my mind.
So as an artist like yourself who's known for your cover work, what works for you about this cover? Because some might glance at it and go, it's a classic characters posed, kind of a poster cover.
I think it's sort of classic now, but I don't think it was back then. I mean, you got to remember how groundbreaking Arthur's art was. Every artist you have now, every artist that's doing covers, they're like me. That's who they grew up on. And so you're seeing a lot of it now. But back then, it was really something special. I mean, on the cover, you had Dunan, who is the American up front with the submachine gun. And then you had Bryoceres in the background. Bryoceres was almost 100% cyborg. The closest thing we had to that in American comics was probably RoboCop, or even in an American pop culture was RoboCop. And if you look at RoboCop and you look at Bryoceres looks almost like a giant metal rabbit because he had those big long antennae or whatever those things were on his head, And anyway, it was so visually distinct. I was like, okay, I have to check this out.
If this was on the stand today as a modern cover, do you think this works?
I do. I do. Matter of fact, I think if anyone at Dark Horse is listening, you need to basically relaunch that whole line. It's strange what holds up today and what doesn't. I mean, there might be a few things that are dated, but I would say everything else is still, these are still sci-fi things that we look into the future, because both of those, Appleseed and Ghost in the Shell, take place after World War III, and it's sort of a cyberpunk future. So I think that not only does the artwork still stand up, I think the stories still stand up. One of the things I also like about the cover, it was watercolored. So it's traditionally colored. That none of, you got to remember, like, this is before desktop publishing. This is before Photoshop. Everything about that cover was like the real deal. I think it would grab people today.
Standard question here for everybody. I'm going to assume you don't own the original of this cover, but no. Do you own any Art Adams original art?
I do have sketches from Art. I think the fanciest thing I own from Arthur is like a tiny remark head sketch on one of his sketchbooks. His artwork is so awesome that he can charge astronomical prices for it, and I'm on the wrong end of that deal. You know how they tell you to buy low and sell high? It's just going to keep going higher with Arthur from here on out. So, unfortunately, no.
On that sad note, please tell the viewers about your new art book and when they might be able to find this and where the best place is to find your work overall.
Okay, so I am excited to talk about this. We launched the Art of Chad Hardin Volume 4 Kickstarter on Zoop back at the beginning of summer. We have had problem after problem with printing. The book is finally being printed. As soon as we're done with fulfillment on that campaign, we will open it up for sale on hardincomics.com. So anybody, even if you didn't back the campaign, soon you will be able to go to hardincomics.com, buy any of the arts of Chad Hardin's volume 1 through 3 or this new one.
Well, Chad, thank you again for the time. We got it done.
We did.